I am a junior in the AMSAT program at Clark High School here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
My name is Porva Chauhan. I go to Northwest Korean Technical Academy here in Las Vegas.
Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Mathis Richa, and like my brother, I'm in the UNLV multicultural program in high school volunteer living in Nevada for the summer.
Hello, I'm Hayden Davis. I have returned from Reno, Nevada at Reno High School to try and solve another problem. Here to fix your roads.
Hello, I'm Ryan Kalita. I'm from Carson High School, and goodness, yeah.
So as you can see, we have a very charismatic group of people up here with us today. So as you know, we are talking about the situation here on Boulder Highway. So, show of hands, how many of you here have ever driven out on Boulder Highway? All right, so keep your hands up. How many of you have ever found this experience to be mildly pleasant? So, as you can see, a lot of people put their hands down, which is pretty common. Right now on Boulder Highway is one of the most dangerous roads in the Las Vegas Valley. There's a high fatality rate. The speed limit is currently 45 miles an hour, which is not conducive for safe driving or for pedestrian traffic. There's poor lighting on the streets, so at night it's difficult for pedestrians to see where they're walking or for drivers to see where pedestrians are. And there's also a major crime rate in this area. So our task was to redesign Boulder Highway to make it safe for all road users. Here's a poor really good piece on statistics.
So currently, with the data we have, we saw that 73% of people don't feel safe walking on Boulder Highway, be it at day or at night. And just last year, out of all the fatalities, or the pedestrian fatalities in Clark County, 20% of them were on Boulder Highway. So we thought if we could make some small changes to the layout of the road, we can make a big difference on the safety factors. So the first thing we want to do is expand the sidewalks. Currently, the sidewalks are around 5 feet wide, and that's not really a comfortable space because only 2 people can walk side by side. So what we want to do is expand the sidewalk to 10.5 feet, going into the bus and bike lane that we currently have. And that allows more space for pedestrians to use. And then we're going to separate the sidewalk from the bike lane with a strip of landscaping. And then there's a 5-foot bike lane painted green. And then there's another strip of landscaping and a 17-inch high curb to act as another buffer between the oncoming traffic and the pedestrians in order to separate it and so that you know where you are. Then we're going to go into the 3 lanes. We're going to change one of the arterial lanes into a bus lane, specifically only for buses, separating the bus and the bike lane, and there's only 2 major arterial lanes. Then we want to narrow the lanes from 9.5 feet from 12.5 feet to 9.5 feet, so that the drivers have to slow down, see where they're going, what's going on, and then we want to slow down the speed limit from 45 to 35 miles per hour, so that drivers actually do have to go slower. So now I want to introduce Matisse to talk about beautification and what we want to do.
Thank you, Barbara. We want to make the curbs larger because it's safer for the pedestrians. It will act like a buffer between the swerving cars and the pedestrians, and it makes a larger space for the pedestrians to use. The first thing we want to do about the median is turn it into a walkway with a shade structure. The walkway will be paved with a cobblestone. And by adding a walkway, we had more area for pedestrians to use. On the promenade, we can have stalls that will lead to stores that are good and produce funding for other changes to the highway. By adding the vendors, Boulder Highway could become a fun area to visit for all ages. People can go watch a movie at a casino and then walk around and enjoy the stores and the walkway. Another change we want to make is adding to the landscape of the area. On the larger sidewalks, we want to separate the walking paths, the bike paths, and the road with sections of landscaping. The promenade can be lined with lane delineators. So now, thank you for listening. And now Apava is going to talk about. Is going to talk about the right turns islands.
So another thing that we want to change about the road is adding right turn islands at intersections so that drivers will have to slow down and they have to see the pedestrians and where they're going to turn. Tighter angles on a right turn island slows down the driver and it increases visibilities of the pedestrians. Now I'm going to introduce Denise to talk about some technological changes.
So while there are many structural changes that we would like to make to Boulder Highway, there are also a great number of technical changes that we can implement in this area. So as our peers mentioned before us, Boulder Highway has a very bad lighting situation currently. Drivers can't see the road at night and pedestrians can't see any oncoming traffic when they're crossing the street. So right now the street lights, they don't really reach the street, so the street itself is not illuminated, let alone the sidewalk, which is almost completely dark at night. So what we would like to do is change the lighting in the street lights to LEDs, which would make it brighter and easier to see traffic for both drivers and pedestrians. But also something else about the lighting on Boulder Highway is the fact that street lights don't reach the sidewalk. The lighting doesn't reach that area, so the sidewalk is never illuminated enough for drivers to be able to see oncoming pedestrians. So another change we would like to implement is to include lamp posts on the sidewalk itself, so pedestrians can see where they are walking, as well as drivers. So both the sidewalk and the street will be illuminated, so we can avoid more accidents in the future of crossing pedestrians or drivers not being able to see anybody. Another problem on Boulder Highway is the fact that with the bad lighting, you can't really see street signs. So stop signs, yield signs, pedestrian crossing signs are all dark at night. So drivers don't know what they're supposed to be seeing, and pedestrians don't know that drivers can't see them. So another change we would like to implement is to outline each street sign in LEDs, so we can illuminate the signs themselves, so drivers will be able to see what's coming from far away, so they can alter their driving, and pedestrians can also know what's coming at them, so we can help to create less fatalities here on Boulder Highway. So here's Ryan, who's going to talk about more changes.
Thank you, Denise. So another technological change we would like to implement are crosswalk enhancements. So to begin with, there is reflective yellow and white inlay tape that we would use instead of the traditional paint. This is more durable, it requires low maintenance, and it's slip resistant too. Also, crosswalks will be placed every 150 feet, especially near those major entrances, such as by Walmart and Boulder Station. This will allow the other side of the street, which mainly consists of residential homes, to have access to those entertainment and food places. And these crosswalks will also have those rectangular rapid flashing beacons, or RRFBs. These are powered by solar panels and emit two regularly flashing orange lights that warn the oncoming drivers that pedestrians are about to cross. Therefore, pedestrians can cross more safely. And another safety measure we would like to implement are pothole crosswalks. So as you can see, it tells the visually impaired person when to wait and then when it's finally safe to cross the street. This way, crosswalks will be able to be used by virtually everyone. And an additional technological advancement includes the camera system already installed by the Freeway and Arterial System of Transportation, or FAST. First of all, a tracking code would be added to this system, which we have a video of.
So there you go. Here is your object that you're trying to track.
Basically what you're seeing is the screen in the middle. That is the real life footage, and it's tracking the green color, which you can see on the screen to your left, and the black and white, you can see it moving back and forth. And so this could be
used to the center of the object is what's being
track a car
tracked.
by color, or maybe get its license plate if it went speeding at all, or even be modified to catch the perimeter of the car. This is for in the instances of a crash when the perimeter is breached. The system can send an alert to FAST, which can then notify officials to be at the scene. And then car crashes would be discovered faster and possibly even prevented. And finally, other than tracking code, we would like to implement an artificial intelligence surveillance system. These AIs can detect suspicious activity, and they use facial recognition. So next up to speak is Hayden for Solar Roadways.
Hello everybody, I'm Hayden. I'm here to talk about solar roadways with you guys. I guess we'll start with what they are. They are photovoltaic plates that are placed under tempered glass with a texture on top of it for the road users so that they do not slip and slide everywhere, because glass can be pretty slippery. It actually simulates asphalt and has similar stopping distances, a little bit longer, but about the same within regulations. They generate energy on their own. That's what solar panels do. And I mean, just think about how much energy hits the road, especially here in Vegas where it's always sunny. It's really hot, got sunburn. A lot of energy that can be generated to use to power lights, houses, electric cars. You can reduce greenhouse gases from fossil fuel burning up to 50% initially within the first 30 years of installing solar roadways in an area. And then another up to 75%, adding another 25% if all vehicles are transferred to an electric motor, which would be much easier when you have charging stations everywhere, because everything can be charged everywhere. The other thing they have is power lines, gas lines, telephone lines, just everything that's usually put hanging or just somewhere in the dirt is all put into this little maintenance area that is put on the side of the road, so you don't have to call before you dig. You know where it is. It also prevents the splitting of power lines, so less blackouts, and you don't have hanging power lines that could be active, which can cause fires or electrocute people if they touch it. The other thing they have is programmable LEDs and sensors installed in them. For example, you have the reflective tape or the current reflective paint. That would be removed with solar roadways, and it would just be LEDs that are extremely bright, so you can actually see what you're looking at, and you can change the road, so if there's construction or a detour, you can just display the message. It can also sense if a car is traveling too fast or if a car is on the road and if there's a pedestrian user in the crosswalk. And with autonomous vehicles being the next big thing in the car industry, you can tell the car, hey, there's someone there, you can't crash into them. You can't kill them, so the car stops. You don't hit them. It's great. And going back to power, in 2015 in the Netherlands, they installed a 230-foot bike path out of solar panels with tempered glass on top of it, which was able to generate 3,000 kilowatt hours in 6 months, which, if you did not know, is enough to power a small house for 1 year. So, very efficient. The picture in the top left is the actual bike path in the Netherlands, which is still there today. The top right is SR2s by the company Solar Roadways based out of Iowa being installed. And then the bottom is SR3s with their LEDs. Well, some of them are on. Very powerful technology. I'm going to pass on to Denise to talk about human behavior and how that affects driving. And pedestrians.
So while we can stand up here and preach at you about the different structural and technological changes we can implement on Boulder Highway, we have to address the issue that these crashes happen because of what we as humans do. We're driving distracted, we're talking on our cell phones, or emphatically speaking to the passenger next to us. We're not paying attention to the road in front of us or the other drivers around us. And this is why all of these crashes are happening. We could have the most advanced technology put onto this highway, but if we don't address the fact that this is because of us, nothing's going to change. So we need to start developing these good habits and put our cell phones away, put our seatbelts on, and just drive carefully and make sure that we're paying attention to the people around us. Because our cell phones, they can be replaced, but a human life, that's something that you can never bring back. So as long as we start to drive, make sure we hold ourselves accountable for what we do, we can start to make changes in our community. Yeah. And also, one of the major things that we hope will work with Boulder Highway is to make us a feeling of community. Because here in Vegas, everything's really spread out, so you don't really talk to your neighbors anymore or anything like that. So the fact that we have larger medians and we're putting stores there, or you can walk at places, we hope that people will start walking more, that they'll start biking more, start using public transit more. So we can learn to create a community within each other and also just create a cleaner and greener environment.
Go green, baby.
And also, while we can talk about everything that we wish to implement now, it's also important to think about the future aspects that what we do now can change. So, as Hayden mentioned, we would like to start putting solar roadways onto Boulder Highway, but it's more economically efficient to only start with major intersections. So once we start to see the benefits that these solar roadways can provide, we can start to put them on different areas of Boulder Highway and also just on streets all over the Las Vegas Valley, which will make our city a lot more eco-friendly and green. And also on the strip there is the monorail. So if we could create a light rail or another monorail to connect different areas of our city, that would also increase use of public transit, and we can start to lessen greenhouse gas emissions and again keep our environment more clean and eco-friendly. So here's our excited page. Thank you all for your time.
Sorry, we forgot to mention this at the beginning, but our team name is Solar Success due to the usage of.
Yeah, so what you see here is on this side of our t-shirt, we tried to model what Boulder Highway is now. You know, it's ugly, it's gross. And this side is supposed to show, yeah, solar roadways are cool, and this is what we can make our Boulder Highway.
And then this is a model of what we hope to install on the Boulder Highway. You have a central median that runs down the center of 35 feet with a 25-foot walking path. The scale is 1 to 4 feet. You have, 12.5 feet of road, bus lane separated by a median, small median, and then a bike lane. And then you have sidewalks, stores, and all of your businesses. You can have business down here, and mid-block crosswalks, hopefully everyone under 50 feet. And then on the back side, we have some concept art of the central median down there. Right there. But what's so funny? So we have the strip of Boulder Highway that is the most deadly East Desert Inn and Boulder Highway.
Desert Inn, South Lim, and Boulder Highway.
Yeah, that one. And then some concept art drawn by Florba of what an intersection could look like.
So we just wanted to keep this board fun, and we wanted to really include all the members in our group. So this is what we created. We're really proud of it. So.
Good job.
I may have missed it, but do you know what the cost is for an intersection to put the solar panels in versus a traditional pavement?
The cost of solar roadways is about $70 per square foot, but it is a one-time investment. That's 2010 data. That's the latest data that they have, and that was a price estimate based off of the components that they use to manufacture.
Are they at all susceptible to vandalism? I mean, they look very expensive. Would they be something that you could?
They weigh upwards of 350 pounds, so I don't think they're that vulnerable, and they're also locked into the road with these plates, and they go down, and they put these screws on them, so they're stuck under glass with all the hardware and stuff inside, and then they're screwed into the ground.
And how thick is the glass?
It ranges, I think what they do now is about 1.5 inches width.
It withstands the weight of trucks?
Yes.
Could you this wasn't spoken about, but what is your opinion of pedestrian countdowns where drivers can see the countdowns as they're driving?
I think that's a great idea so that a driver knows that, the pedestrian has started crossing or that it's time's coming up, so they know when the light's going to turn, but they also know not to go. Because, I mean, you get some people who will just sit there and they think, oh, the light's about to be green, and so they pull through and hit a person who just decided to start crossing in the intersection.
Yeah, so what's actually interesting is that in some studies it's shown that this is actually more of a problem. So some drivers see the countdown going, they see it's going 3, 2, 1, they think they can make it, versus just a solid, like a yellow light. So it's actually giving drivers the ability to blast through yellow lights, potentially causing accidents. I guess I just wanted to call attention to that fact, and that's something that maybe could be solved by, you still need the visible countdowns for pedestrians, but maybe there'll be some way in the future, there's already technology that makes it only visible to pedestrians versus drivers, right?
Yeah, you could put like, it's a little hard to explain, but you know, around a traffic light, they have those little cones that kind of like gives it so it's really straight on. You could have that around the sides, so like drivers can't just like peek over, they really have to be leaning really far to see it.
The other thing you could do is with all the sensors and cameras is that anybody who blows through a cop's there already, and they're just, there you go.
Thank you, guys. We still have a question in the back somewhere.
Well, yeah, I had a question. I want to see your board. Don't put it down. Lift it up a little.
Put it on the table.
Which
side?
Which side? So you had some footages for the black, the blue. So are we going to make use of the existing footage that we currently have? Or are we going to redesign the whole highway? Because there is a huge cost involved. So that's why I'm trying to find out if you are using the existing footage or a whole.
We don't plan on designing the whole highway itself. We want to like use the existing width of each lane and just make changes using that. So right now what separates the different lanes are just like paint or cat eyes on the road. So in order to change the width of each specific lane, we would just have to either repaint over them or just move the cat eyes to make the specific lane changes that we want. In the back.
Excellent presentation, first of all. There's a large median in between. Are you going to do anything, any redesign with that area?
So I'm going to talk about the median. Like I said earlier, yes, the thing about the median, Eastern it's into promenade. A promenade with a walkway structure. I think it's the correct sentence now. Okay.
So what we want to do is we're going to repave the median because it's like dirt and gross right now. So we're going to just pave over the flood channel so like it's still there, but we have the walkway on top with shade structures and vent stalls for vendors to use. And you can walk in the middle, you can walk on the sidewalks. It's just to the aesthetics of Boulder Highway. So instead of just leaving it this gross little ravine thing, we can make it pretty.
And the other thing it would have is a shade structure covered with solar panels on the top to generate even more electricity. Yeah. Power. Yes?
Great ideas about the solar energy using for lighting, but did you guys ever consider maybe talking to the businesses like casinos? Like I know the one at Sunset Station. Sometimes they have this like crazy like blitz, and it just blinds you right there, you know. And then there's like traffic lights and crosswalks, but when that sunset, that billboard or whatever goes off, it's like you might have a seizure. That bright, so you won't see anything in the ground, you know, because you're still into like what's going on here. It happens at nighttime, and I know that's dangerous. So I don't know. I know several years ago there was that bus stop that people got run over, and I think people like businesses lend their land or something to move the bus stops more inward, so it's not so out. So I was wondering if the, casinos are willing to, listen to you kids who are our future leaders, I guess.
That's a really good point. So, like, this comes back to the point that we made before about we really need to start building a sense of community. So, in order to make a difference, like, we can have all of these great ideas, but we do need to start working with our local businesses and our other, like, casinos, especially here in Vegas, to start helping out and, like, start to change these problems.
And one of the things that could be done is we could talk to them to see if maybe they'd like to reduce the light level of that sign so that it doesn't blind people as
Yes,
often.
we know it's casino. I mean, we get it. You know, and then like blind us,
More questions?
Good job.